I'm not mad. Okay. Okay, I'm mad. I don't know how we got here. I'm sorry. I feel so far away from me. Can we do something different? Something more. I don't know, something we used to do. Let me tell you a story. I used to tell you a story. I'll make one up for you. Okay. Once upon a time, there was a bear. And this bear was lonely every day. And he lived in a cabin alone. And every morning he would get up and go searching for someone who lived close enough to his cabin. But then every day at midday, when the sun was at the very top, then he would have to turn around and go home, or he would be stuck outside. He would be trapped in the night. And at night he would hear a wolf howl. And he didn't want to get caught by that wolf. So every day he would go and search as far as he could until midday came and he'd have to turn around and go home. Now this continued and continued and continued until finally one day he found footprints while he was going. And those footprints he followed, and they led up to a cave. And outside the cave there were bones scattered around. And then he thought, I'll just say hello. Maybe, just maybe, they'll say hello back. So he took 2 steps closer to the cave and shouted, hello, 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 hello. And no one responded. He tried one more time. Hello, 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 hello. And he got nothing. So then he went forward and he said, hello, hello, hello. And still there was no answer. So the bear decided to leave. Kind of got the shivers, the spooks. And they went home. And when they went home, they went right to bed and they barely made it before the sun was setting. And they went into their room. And they fell asleep. And of course, that night they heard the howls and the howls and the howls. And they got closer and closer and closer. And he would have swore that it was right outside of his house. And for the first time, he realized that those howls didn't sound so much as hungry, but mournful. And the next day, sure enough, when they opened their door, they saw the footprints outside their window and out and going up onto the front porch and going all around the house. And he realized that the footprints had been following his own from yesterday. They went all the way back. Can I hold your hand while we do this? Thank you. I feel better about this, do you? Yeah, I like this. Okay, so together they went. Oh, so then he followed the footprints all the way back back to, sure enough, the cave. And he went to the cave and said, hello, hello, hello. No response. I saw you at my house. Nothing. So what they did is they took a bone. They didn't think if the wolf could read or write, so they drew. They drew a happy face and an arrow and then a cabin and then a glass of tea, a cup of tea. And they went home so that they could make the tea in time to go to bed and wait for the night to come. They stayed awake and stayed awake and stayed awake, and sure enough, they heard steps on the front porch. No howls this time. And then a slurping, and then they started to open the door, and then they ran away. They just saw a big dark figure run off into the forest. So the next day, they sure enough went outside, but they saw a happy face scribbled outside their front porch. So then the bear went back to the house and saw a rabbit on a pike outside of their house and another smiley face. Now, Bear was a vegetarian and didn't necessarily have any interest in eating rabbit. But they drew another arrow pointing back to their cabin, a picture of a house, and a smile. And then a picture of the rabbit with the eyes crossed out. And they went back to their house and they brought the rabbit with them and they prepared it to eat. And that night they heard a sniffing at the front door as they were roasting the rabbit. And he creaked open the door and saw that it wasn't a wolf at all. It was a she-bear. And she was huge, and her hair was matted. And she looked at him, both curious and ravenously hungry. And he invited her in. And they ate rabbit together. That's the end. Thanks for listening. Let's talk tomorrow, okay?